Fitness Fluent. I'm Anthony K. I'm super excited this week because my guest is going to take us through the journey of fitness and give us our first Fitness Fluent tip. Nikki, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
I've been looking forward to this because it's a journey that I'm going on myself, right? I am a former athlete turned overweight dad, turned who knows what's next. But fitness is the goal. So I know that you had similar kind of history where you kind of started playing sports in, I don't know, it was high school, college. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in athletics, and then we'll work our way into training?
Yeah. So my parents definitely wanted to throw me into something. So I got started with softball probably like fifth grade, sixth grade, super young. I wanted to do gymnastics personally, so I wouldn't have chose that, but I ended up being really good at softball. So I basically committed to that. Didn't really mess around with any other sports. And I played middle school, high school, and travel ball. So I was playing year round travel ball team, things like that. And then I played college ball for it as well. I finished my 4 years of eligibility.
I guess you're pretty good then.
I was pretty good. I was scrappy. I was good. Yes.
Scrappy.
I loved it, but I surprisingly don't miss it.
You don't. Okay. So you had the run, you enjoyed your time, and then it was time to transition to something else. So what happens in life? Where do you go? Okay, softball's done, school is done. Now I want to do something else. How does that happen?
So actually school was not done yet because I had transferred. So of course it was some bull where they didn't count one of my science classes because it was supposed to be taken under another name under that school. So I had to do a whole nother year of eligibility. Honestly, thankful for it though. I would definitely recommend that staff as the best biology staff I've ever had in regard to work ethic and making me work. They were very difficult. So application was key, which is how I do my fitness programming. So I will say they inspired me to coach people the way that I coach people. So I basically was doing a year of school, and after doing morning workouts and practice, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm so bored right now. I was bartending for money as well, but that's when I started my fitness journey pretty much. So I started working out, and luckily when I was younger, I was more of a skinny fat. I was pretty lanky. I had long, skinny legs. Like I said, I was scrappy and fast. And I thought I knew what I was doing, but I really didn't. I actually started off with like the light weights, thinking I was going to get big and bulky. It was when Skinny Bunny tea was really popular. Do you remember that?
I do not, but I want to pause there for a second because you brought up something that I hear a lot, especially from women. I'm scared to weight train because I think I'm going to get too big and bulky. And I've always heard, so tell me if I'm right or wrong, you're not going to get big and bulky unless you go out of your way to become big and bulky. Is that fairly accurate?
Correct. It is very hard, honestly, to put on muscle. Of course, there's body types that can put on muscle easier than others. Like for body types like me, ectomorphs, you may have heard that term before. It's difficult, but no matter what, whether people also resort to steroids, do I necessarily agree or disagree with steroids? Like, it doesn't really matter, honestly, because you still have to eat and you still have to put in the work, and you are really breaking down your body. Like it is really hard eating that much healthy food when it's so low in calories. Like when I feed my clients, they're super surprised and they're full. It's difficult getting the food in, but their calories are still less than what they were having before, because the food before, there was no substance to it. It was nothing but filler calories.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So take us through. So what was the Skinny Bunny?
It was like, yeah, like it was younger generation, like I'm a 90s baby, so I'm 30 right now. So if you had social media, there was like the Skinny Bunny tea detox. I'm sure there's some people out here that are listening to this. They're like, oh my God. So that's when I started my journey. And I point out the weight thing because I started out as well believing a lot of the myths. I was eating healthy, but I wasn't necessarily eating the right amounts of things. I was looking at calories, not macros then. So that's another myth that I like to go over with clients. I also was really relying on cardio, and I don't even do cardio right now, to be honest. So, I was working out. I was working for a dietary and nutritional supplement company. I was a lab technician making supplements. It was pretty cool. Like I helped make hydroxycut and things like that when it got
Oh,
put back
okay.
on the shelf.
That one I've heard of. That one I've heard.
Yes.
Skinny Bunny, I hate to say it, you're a 90s baby. I'm a 70s baby. So I did not, maybe that one just missed. I missed that one.
I like the music then though.
Thanks.
I do. I
But
really do.
hydroxycut, I'm going to move on from that. Hydroxycut, I have heard of. Okay, so you worked on that.
Yeah, so I was a lab technician, had a 9 to 5 job. Awesome and really thankful for it. Sorry, my cat is going crazy.
And not the first time. I just so you know, it's been the last 3 people I've had for whatever reason have always had cats who don't like the sound of my voice and are always screaming at me. So it's I don't know why it's very common.
She might be saying what's up. She's pretty
cool.
Okay. I got my dog here looking at me like she's hungry. So that's when I started looking into getting my personal training certification. Was working out again. I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have nearly as much intention as I do now in my programming for myself or for clients. Also, again, like I was saying, I would eat, oatmeal, granola bar, a salad for lunch, maybe not protein, an apple, right? And then, piece of meat and some potatoes and vegetables for dinner. It sounds healthy. That's when I wasn't really into macros. So I was getting a passion for it. Surprisingly, I wanted to start working with people because I was pre-vet in school. I graduated biology, biochemistry minor. Never wanted to work with people. And then I enjoyed talking about all the things I was learning. Moved home, did not want to do that job anymore. And I started to pursue training, which was not promising in the beginning. It's not an easy career at all to make money in. And I've worked for LA Fitness, UFit Health Clubs, Planet Fitness. I've also worked at Orange Theories, F45s, different boutique personal training studios. Gradually made my way to where I am now, independently health coaching. But I pursued my personal training certification, got into the nutrition as well. And that's when I discovered macros. But before I even started working with people seriously, I pursued my first bodybuilding competition.
So you got to tell me about macros because you ran down what you used to eat, and I was like, yeah, that's what I would have thought was the perfect day. And if I could do that, I think I'd be happy. But apparently I'm wrong, which is why you're here. So let's go into that. When you say macros and that your previous diet wasn't necessarily the best for you, what do you mean by that?
So love this shit. Okay. Depending on your goals.
Yes.
So I'm going to help you out. What are your goals? Seriously, your next phase of your life.
You mean if you're me personally? I have what would be called like a swimmer's body. I'm long and I'm lean. So I'm 6'3" and all my weight is in my midsection. And so it's to get a little bit bigger, but mostly to get that core smaller.
Okay. So a lot of the times the reason why the weight is in your midsection is obviously because of diet, but also because of activity and lack of use for your body. So everyone resorts to cardio to lose weight, and cardio is good. It gives you that cardiovascular health. But if you want to actually be strong and build muscle, and like, honestly, when everyone has goals, of course, everyone wants to ideally, look like a bodybuilder to an extent. Of course, there's some girls that don't want to look like the figure girls, but there's 4 different categories for people to choose from. And I'm not saying you should be a bodybuilder, but I train my clients like bodybuilders because at the end of the day, you're trying to build your body, whether it's with strength and you want to be a power lifter, or you just want to function and feel good throughout the day, or you do want to look good and naked when you walk by the mirror because it's awesome and it feels good. You have to train your body. So from head to toe, we have muscle for a reason. We have bones, organs, water. We need water. The water gets used for different things. Work out your muscles, whether it's with body weight, whether it's with bands, weights, heavy, light, high reps, low reps. Don't let all that stuff confuse you. But if you want a bicep and you want it to look good, you got to work it out, because in the gym, you break down your body. And then when you're outside the gym, you build your body nutritionally and mentally. And I do a lot of mental health with my clients as well, because that's how you break the habits and look at things differently and be able to actually make changes sustainably.
Because I think, listen, talking to people, and obviously even myself, when you start looking at, okay, I want to get into shape, I want to get fit. The first question every trainer I've talked to asks is, or coach is, well, what do you want? And you know what? Most people don't know. We don't know what we want. We just know that, I want to be better than I am today. And then you start to do, I hate Google for this, because you start to do research, and you've got so much misinformation. This diet, that diet, those foods are good, these foods are bad. Do cardio. Don't do cardio. I kind of liked when you said you don't do cardio, by the way. Don't do cardio. Do cardio. You can't do this, or you have to, like, the same person who says you can't do this, then you read something that says, no, you have to do that. So it's very confusing how many reps you do, how much weight you should put on. There are so many variables. So if you were to, so I like that you said, don't worry about that, because I think that's what happens to a lot of people is they get caught up in all those variables. And then it's overwhelming, and you go, forget it. I'm not doing this, right? You got to count calories and count reps. And, so how do you simplify it and say, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's step one. If you want to, like you said, just take the first step into a healthier life, mentally and physically. What's the first step that you need to do? Is it just eliminate kind of overthinking it, or what next?
I mean, you do need to figure out, like, obviously what you want, but like you said, not many people know what they want, but there's always like this surface thing that's there. And most of the time it's like, of course I want abs or an ass. Excuse me.
No, I do. My wife tells me all the time, it's flat. I need to do something. It's the genes, I got to pump them up. I get it. It's not just a girl thing. So we all have that issue.
When girls are like into guys, we totally look at, well, I mean, especially personal trainers, and I never judge anyone. I literally do. Like, you guys are art to me, and it's fun, like, because you're a sculpture, and like what we do in the programming and in the journey. And if you implement the things I tell you to implement, and we get you there along the way healthily, because I'm communicating with you. I'm also not a wizard. No trainer is, no matter how good the trainer. We are learning your body just as much as you are. And we can just guide you with knowledge and make sure that you're progressing, and we're monitoring you along the way. So I always tell people to obviously set a goal. Your goals change along the way. They get harder, they get deeper, you get more goals, and you start adding to the list, and it's awesome. Because you're right, you don't know what you want half the time, and you don't really know if you like something or not like it unless you actually go through it and try it. And then as you get better and stronger and faster and leaner, whatever the case is, you have to figure out where you're starting first. So that's another thing why people fail, is not only like just trying what they Google because it sounds good, looks good, feels good. Maybe your friend's done it and they've succeeded in it. I'm not saying don't do that, but is it realistic to like you and your lifestyle? So like if you're eating twice a day and your friend ate 6 meals a day, like how are you really going to sustainably do that more than 4 weeks? Anyone can really be motivated for 28 days. It's bullshit that it takes 28 days to build a habit. That's not true at all. It takes years, because you're always going to resort to old habits. And you grew up in a childhood and you were used to certain things and you see things a certain way. And it's so much more than just literally the physical journey. I just enjoy the fitness part of my aspect and my wheel of life. So there's a lot to it. So figure out where you're at. How many meals are you eating a day? How many hours of sleep are you getting? How much water are you drinking? How many days a week are you even working out? If you're working out like 1 or none, how are you expect to work out 5 for the rest of your life? That makes no sense. So set a goal.
I thought I could just buy a gym membership and then everything would just happen. Is that not how it works?
No.
I actually have to go there? Okay.
Yeah. I don't want y'all to waste your money.
No, okay. All right.
But so just better than what you're doing.
All right. Better than what you're doing. So listen, you've said a lot of good stuff, and it's debunking a lot of the myths, right? Because like I said, the hardest part is actually doing that first step. Because listen, when you talk to most people, it's, oh, I'm going to get in shape. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I bought an elliptical machine, or I bought a gym membership. Cool. How many times do you use it? Oh, I haven't used it yet. I'm going to start on the 1st of the month. I'm going to start on the Monday. So the motivation has to be part of it, right? You need to want to do something, and you need to set smaller, maybe more attainable goals on a shorter term, and then build up. Because like you said, you can't go from working out 0 days a week to 5 days a week, because that's not, now you might build up to 5, but you might start with 2, right? And then 3, and then 4, that type of thing. All right. So we talked about weights and diet. And when I see your stuff, again, I see some people who it's all about the weights. And then I see other people, oh, weights don't even matter. It's all about the diet. And then I see people, oh, you got to balance the two. Is there one correct answer? Does it depend on the person? Does it depend on your goals?
Both.
I hated that answer. Okay, so tell me why both. So all the weights in the world won't make a difference, right? Unless you're eating right. Is that, or am I oversimplifying it?
I mean, if you start eating right and you're not ready to start working out, start, I mean, yeah, start there. Like I'm not telling you to jump in either. Again, kind of figure out where you're at and figure out what you're ready to like change and work at. Because again, if you're not really ready to work at something, of course you're going to work at it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But then how you do it is going to be by a challenge or something that's not sustainable. And then when you don't do it, you feel like a failure and you feel like you're not good enough to get to what you really want. And then you start doubting yourself and then you start self-sabotaging and you don't do it.
Yeah, I
So
did curls once and my arms didn't explode that afternoon. I was very confused by that.
you're never going to have biceps, right? No,
uh,
I mean, it takes years and years. And you got to look at the people that you are inspiring, like a guru. They're going to tell you the same thing. We are no different than you guys. The difference is the commitment, the discipline, and the consistency, really, and time. Like I've been doing this for 7 years now.
so for someone, someone who's, let's talk to the the girls and the guys who are working their their 9 to 5s. Some of us are stuck at home because COVID's got us on lockdown still, and some of us are back in the office. What's a kind of a daily tip? What's something that, hey, you could start doing this maybe at your desk or in your office, or something that can just kind of get you active to maybe start that process of, instead of sitting at your desk for 10 hours a day. What's something that you can get up and just do, to get things started?
So I'm going to go 2 different routes
Okay.
for an actionable answer and then actually implementive answer. For the actionable one, of course, do things like park further from the building, even when it's raining, just wear a raincoat and have an umbrella. Take the stairs, don't take the elevator. Figure out how many drinks you're having a week alcoholic and get rid of 1 or 2. Start there. Alcohol breaks down as sugar. Unfortunately, it's not nutritional for us. And so whatever
Is
body
that
can't
all
use it.
alcohol? I'm not a big drinker, but I also get that question a lot. All alcohol breaks down to sugar?
Yeah, yeah, and beer has yeast and other things in it, which is why you usually feel more bloated. Like I love me some summer beers, and if I go to Asheville, I do love to try out like the flights and stuff, and I love sour beers. But I usually resort to red wine or like a dirty olive martini, or just like a shot of tequila. I'm not really much of a drinker though.
Okay. If
I
you are
love
doing,
wine.
I am obligated to tell you, if you do like tequila, Grand Leyenda, it's 100% organic. That's your tequila of choice moving forward. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I will try that.
We're friends with the team at Grand Leyenda, so we try to give them a plug anytime we can.
I shall try, you guys. If you want to send me some, let me know. I will give my address.
I will make a call.
Deal. So yeah, drinking more water. I would say just be aware of what you're eating. Start there. I don't want to get into even diet. It's just so much. So implementive answers, plug in your calendar at least 3 days, 3 of the 7 days. 3 days is sufficient. You should be able to do something more than that, to be honest. But can you plug in 3 days of activity to do in your week?
Me, yeah, 100% for sure.
So
when you say activity, well, let's go a little bit deeper into activity. How long? And like when we say activity, it's not like just a walk around the block, right? Like we need to do, like, is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour? Is it 20 minutes? Is it, hey, when you get started, just as much as you can? What would be the starting point?
Some people need to start at just walking. If you can, I would say, can you do 30-minute walk? Hell yeah. And some people may not be able to do that. So start with 20. And if you can't do that, then see where you see what you can get. Okay. Some people are already doing cardio. So then I would tell you, let's start some strength training. And if you're wondering, okay, well, oh my God, what do I do? Obviously reach out to someone, ask questions, hire a coach. I'm not just selling myself, but yes, hire me to do it for you. And I would recommend a minimum of 3 days of strength training. You're welcome. Free information. I do like isolating muscles because at the end of the day, especially as you get older, everything gets slower. Your metabolism slows down. You can't digest Oreos and pizza anymore.
You're telling me.
That's why the midsection is that way. And then if you're not strength training the muscles around your midsection, there's nowhere for the food to go, but just stay there. The nutrients will disperse and feed your muscles and you come up like an art project. So start strength training. superset your muscles, which means group them together, kind of like a HIIT workout. You would look at it as like, but basically 3 days of the week, do your legs and shoulders, do your chest and triceps, back and biceps. Boom, that covers everything in 3 days at least. And then yes, get your butt up and do 2 days of cardio. I just gave you a formatted program to do.
And you can send the we can send our payments to NikkiiFitness, or is it Nikki_fitness?
Yeah, and there's 2 I's at the end because there's a bunch of us.
So it's Nikki with 3 I's _fitness. Well, no, but I mean 3 in total. It's Nikki with Nikki is how I remember it. _fitness, right? Okay.
As long as you remember it, I'm cool.
Whatever we got it. We got it. And you're on TikTok, Instagram, and there's a website too, right? Nikki.fitness. And it's 2 I's. Is it 2 I's on that, Nikki, as well?
No, that's just one eye. I'm doing a revamp right now. So I would just reach out to me on Instagram. And then I have Facebook as well. I do have YouTube. I have a lot of good stuff on YouTube. I have not updated on it, honestly, but there's very good stuff on there. And like I said, I'm doing a revamp, so I will be uploading to YouTube again.
Okay. So what are we do? That fantastic, by the way. I think everyone, if everyone didn't get a great starting point, they weren't paying attention, and you should go back and watch this over again. And of course, comment and like it and set your reminders so you'd catch the next Fitness Fluent as well. That being said, so what are you doing? What are you doing now? So I know you're training some people, but you're training yourself, right? Do you have am I correct? And there's a competition coming up soon?
I actually just did my competition.
Okay.
And I got my pro card. So I am now
congratulations.
a pro athlete. Thank you.
So what does that mean? You got your pro, for those of us that don't know, what does that mean? You got your pro card?
So bodybuilding is a sport. So that was the sport that I chose. If you are looking for something, I would definitely look into it. There are different organizations. The organization that I found a home with is WBFF. So it's not your normal bodybuilding that I would think most people would think of, which is your standard bikini. There's NPC, there's IFBB, which is just the pro league of NPC. There's SNBF, NSL. There's different bodybuilding organizations, kind of like different conferences for college, but they're all Division I.
Okay.
So all the preps are difficult. All the preps are a commitment, but it's really awesome because that's where I've found a lot of who I am. And I'm still learning every day, but I'm still making mistakes too. Like I have crazy anxiety and I have anger problems. So I am not perfect.
Someone really smart told me that anxiety and excitement actually have the same reaction in yourself. It's just, how you look at it. Is it pretty accurate?
I said that.
I know you did. I do my research.
I definitely, and then I was watching a TED Talk too and got inspired by that. I love TED Talks. So where were we going with that?
We were just talking about the pro card, and I threw you off with the knowing your quote.
I was like, I want to talk about TED Talks. So WBFF is more of a beauty bodybuilding fashion show. So it's almost like a Victoria's Secret Carnival bodybuilding show. And there's different categories, but there's more authenticity to it. And you get to go out on stage twice, whether you wear a bikini or theme wear. So I got to wear theme wear, and that's where the girls wear like the wings and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But the category I'm in obviously requires my physique to be this built, but there are categories that are not as built as me.
Okay. Is that where the nightgowns came in, or was that something totally different?
Nope. All the same thing.
Okay.
So I am training for that. I am competing again in April. I'm going to work on this season on bulking because my problem is eating and getting enough calories. And it's really hard for my body to put on muscle weight as well. So I feel you. But you're a dude, so it's easier for you already because of the testosterone.
I have no problem putting on weight. I went from, so I'll give you some background, right? So I was like a college basketball player, and my playing weight was 190. And I went from, which was probably too skinny, let's be honest. But 190 to, maybe I shouldn't admit this, to 265 is where I am today. So I have no problem putting on the weight. It's where the weight goes that I think is my issue.
But you're, 6'3", like one of my clients they're 6'3" and their weight's like 220. And they're built. So, you just got to lift some weights consistently.
Do people, because people get really focused. And I think that there's people get really focused on the number, on their weight. And I feel like for me, and please correct me if I'm wrong. The number means less to me than kind of your strength and then kind of what you look like, because you see women and they're like, oh, if you're over 120, I'm not touching it. And I'm like, no, there's 170 and they look fantastic. When people see when I say I'm 6'3", 260, right? There's linebackers in the NFL that are 6'3", 260. We look very different. Our bodies look very different. So should you get really caught up in the number, or am I correct in thinking don't focus on the number?
I would honestly get caught up in the height, if anything, because you need to be proportionate. That's why the BMI thing is honestly stupid.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to be 175 or something, which is gross on me. Yeah.
And you can look, and I mean, and then if you can compare realistically, I would compare height, because you're right, there are still different body types. So at least with the height, there's a fair advantage, and you can see if at least your body types from the height are similar, because when the heights are different, like that's just, you can't really compare that. You have completely different muscle. And that's one thing that's difficult for like girls like me with really long and lean legs. It's going to take a lot more for us to build that butt that like freaking shorter, Colombians have and Brazilians, and it's awesome. But be realistic with your goals. And like, also for me, I have a very square waist because I have a short torso, because I have really long legs. My hips come up really high. People think I'm like a 27. My waist gets maybe as small as a 29, but the perception of what God gave me or whatever you believe in, I've built my shoulders and my legs to give me that X frame. You have to work with what you have. So comparing heights, I think, is more fair. And you can have a goal weight, but also take pictures. Like I do pictures for progress for my clients. So I make them send them to me weekly.
All right.
Right when you wake up.
So go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, right when you wake up, go pee, go poop, but do not drink or eat anything. Take the pictures before that, because that's your true weight and what you look like. After that, you put on water weight and you start eating and stuff.
Okay. So, man, that was a lot of information, and it's fantastic. So let me end it with one more kind of, where can people get a hold of you? How can they hire you as a coach? So that I know that I put it out there a little bit earlier, but I want it to come from you, so it's 100% accurate. So where can we find you? How can we hire you?
Right now, because of the revamp, I would reach out to me through my Instagram. It is NikkiiFitness. You can DM me, and then I will get back to you on there within 48 hours at least.
All right. Well, there you have it. Nikki Fitness, NikkiiFitness at Instagram. DM, hire as your coach. You'll probably never find anyone better. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you for having me. And if the message gets lost, also because of the messages, don't be afraid to double message me, ask questions, things of that nature. There's tons of content out there. You guys can find all my channels through the links on my Instagram as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.